Hello, I'm Styleboy and this is my experience of London VidCon. I recently went to VidCon London and I really just wanted to talk about it because A, it's VidCon, like duh, and B, I just want to get my experience and give you all the tea. Someone that I actually networked with, I think her name was Ruby and she does like a study tube channel. She gave like an idea like, are you gonna rate each day? And I was like, I didn't think of it like that, but I will. So I'll give you like honest ratings and what I thought of everything. Let's begin. So the first thing, I mean, obviously I went as a creator. So I also have my little creator pals with my YouTube name. I felt special. It was pricey, but again, if you're going as a creator, especially for what you're getting and you divide the amount by 3 days, it is pretty much worth it. I'm not gonna deny to you. So I also got a t-shirt with it because I really wanted VidCon merch. Okay, so day one. Day one that I went to was a very industry-based day. So this was mainly about the chats and mainly panels, very little networking. And this one was mainly based about industry. So it would be, everything was more applied to the industry base. So I went to one about 2 content creators talking about like their channel and their growth, which was everything that I knew, but it was just nice to hear. And plus one of the girls was so pretty. The second one I went to was about YouTube and it was learning about the YouTube algorithm. Oh, it kind of made sense of it, like why trends get huge. Editing stuff here. Basically what I was trying to explain in this like whole long clip was basically how when you're in like groups of content or when you make content very similar to other creators, it's more likely that you'll get bigger because it's all about viewer satisfaction on the algorithm. So for example, let's just say you're a beauty channel and you make a video that Nikki Tutorial did called the bingo challenge, but you did it in your own way. So on her video, it will suggest maybe like, I don't know, tutorial by her, tutorial by like another YouTuber, and then yours. Because it's all based around the idea that the content you produce is satisfying the viewers and they will want to share it out because at the end of the day, when you're satisfying viewers, it's like, oh, you're doing well, and it makes people come back to YouTube, and that's what YouTube tries to do, entice you back into the YouTube game. So that is why. But it was definitely more about that. And I also found it really interesting because it was just nice to learn. It was confusing though because there was so many graphs. I was like, Jesus. And then the last one was a Instagram chat with one of the people who does Lad Bible. That was really interesting actually. And it was so nice because basically from both chats, what I've learned was that audience is your best friend. Basically, you guys are gonna help me to succeed. And it was really, really cool to like learn that. And what was really nice about the Instagram one was that they said that with Lad Bible, what they would doing, the people who are making it were the target audience. So that's who they wanted to reach out, and I was like, interesting. So I really, really enjoyed that. However, I will say, I felt a bit lost. Like, I think everyone felt lost. Like, I literally talked to like, I think a creator after, and apparently there was like drinks after. Where? And literally was like, I feel lost. I don't know where I'm going. And literally she was like, yeah, same. And also I went by myself, which it was something that like, I thought many other people would do, but I think a lot of people didn't. A lot of people went with like a pair or someone that they knew, which obviously makes sense. And I guess with something like that, it makes sense to not go by yourself. It was a little bit scary, I'm not gonna deny, going by yourself because you didn't know anyone. You have to really put yourself out there and talk to people. And I think for day one especially was like the scariest day. So not the scariest, but it was like, oh my god, I am alone. But it wasn't bad. So if I had to rate this day, ooh, it was the least favorite day of the 3, but the day wasn't bad. So I probably just like probably like 6.5 because it wasn't bad what I learned, but it was very little networking. A lot of it was pretty confusing, I'm not gonna deny, and it was very much based for industry. So for creators, nada. Day 2. Day 2 was personally like the best panel ever. Firstly, one panel had Manny MUA, so I was basically in the room with him and I was like, damn. So insert photo. That was such a good panel, and it was because everyone on that panel just meshed together. And what I liked was it was so much more conversational based. So like on the first day it was very much more like interview slash just telling you. So even the conference I went to at first was about like how to pursue your hobby into a job, and that one was good. And like generally like I ended up following the guy after, like I'm gonna do with like every single YouTuber here. It was really good. I liked that first one because it was nice and motivational. And also what was good was just like the one thing he said on that chat, which I was like, thank Jesus, was that you think your niche is too little, however there will be people out there with your niche and you will be able to connect to. And I was like, Bitch, yes. Like, he does time lapses, the guy who does it, and honestly, his time lapses are incredible. And like, I make autistic content because I have autism, ta-da. And I always think that my niche is so tiny because no one really does videos about autism and not many males do fashion like me. However, I then thought bigger. I was like, wait, hang on a moment. There are people who make very similar content to me. It is fashion and something. I can think of like 3 channels off the top of my head. Jeremy Clyde, fashion and music. He performs music, he does like some other stuff, but it's like fashion mainly. A second YouTuber, Kerry, fashion and body positivity and thrifting. There is something else to do with it, like they're not just fashion, and I was like, yes. Third one, Janim. I know her content kind of like shift to more vlogs, but it would be fashion and vlogs. So that's why I am like, I am not alone. I really liked that. And then when it came to the second panel, like Manny MUA, Jack from Jack and Dean, Randall, like that was so much more discussion based. And even like the interviewer was also an influencer, so there was more like a chat flow conversation. I was like, yes. Like, I really, really like that panel. And it basically taught me just stay authentic, to have a side hustle as well, which is all cool because like I have other stuff that I want to do. So even if it means like having merch or having like another job or whatever, like have that on the side and keep something private. Like, bitch, I don't have to tell everything. I honestly loved that, and it was like so lovely and chatty. And the third panel I went to that day was productivity without burning out, which had like Hannah Witten. Honestly, that panel was also really good, and it was really good because it was like one of them does YouTube part-time, one of them like constantly works on their videos, another one was just so focused in the work and has a good schedule. So one of the things that I really liked from that panel was, I think the first thing is like have that passion still there, because as long as you have that passion, you are never gonna change. Because one of the people was an animator. She's a really big animator, and she said her passion statement, which is like, I want to make videos for the middle school kid who feels alone. And I was like, I admire you. Yes, girl, yes. And then like also it was like all these other tips, like saying like have a good schedule, make sure you have time for yourself to like break away, like even like set holidays for yourself where you don't make videos, or even stuff like do one thing at a time and add it gradually, and have one day off where you don't focus on your channel at all. But all 3 panels were really good, and that day I did some networking. Basically these 2 girls, like they both were talking to me because I wore like my neon shirt, and we just started talking, and it was so nice. So if you guys are watching this, thank you so much. That was so good. And then also what we did, because there was such a long gap, which obviously was Get Food, but then every single food place was chaotically busy. We then went to the expo hall after, before the final panel. The expo hall was busy, chaos. I felt so overly stimulated because everything was there. Autistic Self was like, So it was like music and things to look at. Everywhere was to look at. Not as much smell, which was like, thank Jesus. Everywhere was so many things to look at, so many noises around. There was like a Spotify booth, and there was a YouTube thing, and then there was a SpongeBob movie. Why are they coming out with a third? I don't know. And then there was also like a Claire's mixed with like a MUA makeup. And then it was also like X on the beach. There was so much there. I was like, Jesus. But there was also long queues because it was the first day of that community. So I was just like, okay, I'll just get my Spotify thing, which was fine, you know. So like for me, that was like a lot at once. We did leave out of there and then went to the final chat. I did some, but like I wish there was more opportunities to network. I know there was a network thinking at night, but like I think it was purely for management because it was like in the networking lounge, and the way the networking lounge was set up was very much more like, okay, so management, here you go, here's some creators. Because I think what they did, which was really smart actually, I did like that, they used an app called Brilla to connect with different influencers, so they were able to go to management and they networked like that, and I was like, that's pretty smart. Didn't do that, but you know, we roll with the punches. I would say this day was a lot better. The conferences were saving it. I was like, yes, they were really good. I just wish again for day 2 there was way more networking. Again, there was a network thing at night, but I don't know if it was like networking or like networking for management or networking for creators. So for me, I will give this day, I'll give it an 8, you know? I think it was a really good day and I did learn a lot, and also like it was really good. And then the last day, well, this day was my favorite. This day was like the networking day of all networking days. So they had, I think, one room dedicated to just networking, and I went to every single networking session I could, even ones that didn't apply to me. So I first went to a chat about personal branding, which definitely definitely helped me because I was like, oh, thank Jesus I'm on the right lines. Like, stay consistent, have a color scheme, know your brand, make it original. And I was like so informed and it was so good. And there was also like good examples like branding and bad examples of branding. I was like, thank Jesus I'm hearing all of this. And it was really, really good. And then I went to the first networking session. So in total there was 4 and I went to every single one. The first one was LGBTQ+ creators, which your boy is. It was so interesting because it was like, I literally haven't met half of them. And it was also just really nice just to talk to other people who are in the LGBTQ+ community and making content on YouTube. Because one thing that I also wanted to ask, because the thing is for that session, it was like, what do you want to get out of it? And we had to write it down. So I wrote that I want to find a way to integrate more LGBTQ+ content into my thingy without it being the only thing in my brand. Do you get what I mean? So I wanted to ask, and it was really good because I think I got advice from one guy, such a nice guy. He said like to make one video based on it. Like, it doesn't have to be like necessarily coming out. He said coming out, but it was more like about your journey and your story with your sexuality. And then every single time you make a video on it, you just reference back to that. So you don't have to constantly be like, here's my branding. And I was like, that's really smart. I really, really like that. And that's the thing. What I also loved was that you can learn so many things from other creators. And that's what I loved, which is why I went to every single one. Because you not only get to connect with other creators who don't even make content that's similar to yours, but you can make so many good connections just randomly, and I loved it. So that was really good. And also just talking to other people, like, brilliant. And also it was really nice just to see other creators in the LGBTQ+ community. Second one was small creators. So I literally just stayed in the room, and this one was also really good because literally after the session ended, there was like a big gap for like lunch, and we just chatted. Like, literally we chatted. I met some great people. I think her name is Emma. Met her. Brilliant girl. Who ended up running the session. Loved her. Loved her plaid trousers. Tess, girl, you're great. And it was so nice just to chat and just to talk. Also, I don't know why this is on my arm, but you know, anyway. And it was just really nice to connect with other people. Then we went to get lunch. I went to the next one, which was study tube. So it's like student / study tube. So I was like, oh, like I'm gonna be a student again, so I'll go. It was mainly study tube, but even then it was so good because it was like a very open, like even I started talking about my gap year and how I want to do videos like transitioning from like foundation, which I do want to do and I will do it, which is like transitioning from sixth form into foundation year into gap year into uni. I want to do all those 4, and it was so accepting. Like literally even people were talking to me after. I loved it. Like I really loved it, and it was so nice just to be there. And then the last one I went to was travel. And travel, there was small girl. Her feed so on point. And also like when I was talking about editing, there was like an editor on the other side of the room, and because he wanted to start making travel content, and I literally was like, oh my god, like, I think the guy asked who was leading the session, what editing software do you use? Like, a lot of my Premiere Pro, and I was like, it literally excites me so much. I got really excited about editing because I get excited about editing, and I feel like he was like, yes. It was really cool. Like I really liked that chat. Also, it was just great to network, although we wanted to chat after and then we got kicked out. I think all the night events were like creator and community, and there were apparently some crazy stuff happened. I think for the night when it was like the night of awesome and someone made a transphobic comment, so and then the next night was Harvey was supposed to perform. I think if I was gonna rate day 3, I would rate it like a 9.5. I actually really enjoyed it. Like I loved that day. It was definitely my favorite, and I think I made some good connections. So yeah, if you ever spoke to me, like thank you, because you basically made it. Now I just got some other things. One thing, I wish there were more other influencers there that I knew, but like again, I watch a lot of American YouTube. But like apparently Amari was there, where JC and Kian were there, where mostly the YouTubers that are doing the panels were all like British YouTubers, which I have no problem with. I didn't get to see any of them really, because again, what I mostly got to was the creator versus community. Something else I noticed, there were so many TikTokers. Wow. I knew a couple of them because of Instagram ads, and also I knew, I think, a couple because Ashley Robert, who I adore her makeup, worked with one of the guys who's like, I know you. I felt like also kind of like there were like loads of age groups. There was nothing wrong with the age groups, like none at all. Like I'm not saying this was like bad, but what it was like TikTokers and like really young kids. So like there were like children creators who looked like 7 or 8. And then there were like guys in like 30s and 40s. And there was like 20s. It was like the XL Center. The food. I had 3 different cuisines. First day I had sushi. Second day I had Costa sandwich, which was like the bagel place. Guys, if you're gonna get a bagel, go to the bagel place. I had I think the vegetarian one with like halloumi, sun-dried tomatoes, the Greek yogurt. There was also like other challenges there. I did one of the challenges. I was like, apparently I was hilarious. So hair flip, yes. say VidCon was very good. So I would rate it probably an 8 out of 10, like overall. I think for what you're paying for, it is worth it. I think obviously next year I'm gonna get a student thingy. What you're getting is worth it. I think because you're as a creator, you have access to all three in a way. Like you have access to community and a bit of industry. It is really good. You have so many helpful panels, and even like you get to connect with other creators, and it's really helpful. So I would definitely say those were like the benefit. The only things I wish would happen was that I got to meet more creators. 100% I wish there was more networking events. I wish that there were more, I think because they had the panels for community about like mental health and all of that, I wish there was more for the creators about like mental health and other stuff, because I think that would have been killer. Like if they had that, I would have been like, yes. Because most of the panels were about like the content you produce. Also, I like aesthetically wise, I wish it was like way more fun, like give us colors and balloons and free stuff, but like that's a personal thing. Yeah, I really don't think I have anything else to talk about. So yeah, that is my VidCon experience. If you guys like these kind of videos, please just tell me, because you know, we love a good chatty moment. Please like, subscribe, share, you know what to do, and I shall see you guys very, very soon. Cheers, adios, goodbye people, goodbye.